We've got a kind of split personality in it as a country, haven't we? We've still got loads of people walking around wearing masks. We've still got loads of people who don't want to come back to work. People are sort of saying that, you know, their lives have been changed forever. You know, I'm not one of those. I would like to see life getting back to normal as soon as possible, as quickly as possible, and we can all get on and remember what we used to do back in sort of February of 2020, you know? But there does seem to be this kind of this sort of hangover that some people are feeling, that they want to keep some form of control, or they want to be controlled. It's quite strange. I don't really get it.
Well, I think we're living in a real unreality. Like the thing that I spend most of my time doing is defending women's rights.
Yeah.
And we do seem to be in a position... Pardon?
I've noticed that.
Well, we do seem... Yeah, I do like to have it on my walls. But we do seem to be in an age where we really are willing to believe anything. We really are willing to be led into things that are completely preposterous. Sort of mask wearing, I think, would be one of them, and wanting to keep ourselves away. But this is just bad for everybody. You know, even just going online before lockdown, the fact that people were more and more online is bad for our mental health. It's bad for just normal human interaction, which actually I think is the actual the life source that we all need is other humans. And so when we then went into lockdown and people were only online, I think it's crazy. I've got a girl that works for me, and she's got 1 hour per week of in-contact, in-person lessons at her university. Right. So there will be she's not actually in halls, but there'll be some kids that have gone away to university this year that will be spending 1 hour in a lecture for that £9,000 a year, and the rest of it is online. It's truly sinister.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I've got friends who have hired people to work for them who have never actually been in an office at all. They were hired sort of, you know, say spring of 2020, and they've never actually turned up for work because it's not safe. And you're going, what are you doing with your life? What, you want to sit on your own, isolated in your own little world, looking at everything on a screen? I just don't get it. I mean, you know, I come from Fleet Street where, you know, all sorts of horrors happened and all sorts of terrible things happened, but all sorts of great things happened. And you worked together as a team. You were in an office. You went to the pub. You went for lunch. Sometimes you ended up spending the night with people. You know, it was great. And you know, that's all sort of disappeared now.
Yeah, just also sort of... I hate the word banter, but I'm going to use it anyway. But even sort of normal interaction and banter and slight sort of things that you might not want to hear. I don't mean terrible things.
No.
But just sort of normal human interaction.
Just a bit of teasing, you know.
Taking. I think... because everything goes on in email or Teams or however these people are communicating, or even on Zoom, you kind of have to stop in order for someone to speak. So there's no sort of normal overlapping of conversation. And I just don't think... it's just not good for anyone. Especially these young kids, they are going into work and they can't actually stomach a whole day of normal people.
I mean, although, of course, there might be people who slightly point to the fact that, ironically, you and I are now communicating over Zoom. But there we are. You know, that's not necessarily the only thing you're going to do today, though, right?
Yeah, that's right. And obviously, if you want to send a car for me next time, I'm more than happy to come to the studio.
Listen, if I had that kind of power, I wouldn't be sitting here. You know, they don't give me that kind of power anymore. I've spent too much money in the past.
No, yeah, of course. I've got a full day of doing things, of, you know, creating really frightening things for the public, like stickers with the definition of the word woman.
Oh, yes. Well, I was fascinated, actually. It's quite good to talk to you about this, because last week or the week before, the House of Lords voted in that misogyny should now become a hate crime, to which I said, well, given that the Labour Party and certainly Sir Keir Starmer can't actually define what a woman is, how do you define what a hate crime against a woman is?
I'm totally opposed to hate crimes just generally. I think
me
it's
too.
Nonsense. But the misogyny, I mean, how much time have the police got? Apparently they've got enough time to investigate parties.
Right.
If they truly wanted women to report everything that women felt was a misogynistic comment or look or anything it is, words on a page, I think the police will be inundated for eternity. So it's totally unworkable. The Labour Party don't know what a woman is. I mean, Lisa Nandy famously said that she wouldn't mind a child rapist to go in a woman's prison if they said that they were a woman. So the Labour Party are just a disappointment, and no much more so than right now when Boris is basically on the ropes, and there is nobody, I think, that could possibly run the country in the
well, listen, I mean, people say to me, why are you trying to get Keir Starmer elected? Well, the answer is I'm not trying to get Keir Starmer elected. I don't think he ever will be elected because he's absolutely and utterly useless, as he proved today. He is a lawyer, not a leader. He can't even hit a knockout punch at Boris Johnson. He's had about 3 opportunities in the last 3 weeks of PMQs, and he's missed spectacularly every single time. And the Labour Party are so wrapped up in their own definition world and definition sort of jungle that they can't even come up with any strategy that they can all agree on.
Yeah, I mean, the whole of Parliament, to be fair, there's a very few politicians that are willing to say a woman is an adult human female. And that's my barometer now. That's my gauge on whether or not someone is a decent, honest human being. And so most of them fail at the first hurdle.
Yeah, and that's now controversial, of course, as well, which is even more laughable.
I know, and people use lots of words to try and say, they'll say female person or male body instead of man and woman, and I'm not having any of it.
Did you see that one? There was a great one the other week on the BBC where some doctor was on talking about people with prostates. I'm like, really? People with prostates? Okay, right, well.
The thing is, these wokesters, right, who talk in those terms, they're also very pro-immigration.
Yeah.
And so some immigrants will not understand what prostate haver or person with a prostate means. They will understand man.
Yeah.
They won't understand cervix haver. They will understand woman.
Yeah.
And so when we cloud language and try and create these sort of woke, inclusive terms, we really do exclude a large number of people. And so they really do have to pick a side. Are they genuinely wanting to be inclusive of people, or are they just wanting virtue signalling woke points?
Yeah, it's only inclusivity for Putney, I think. Isn't that what they're after? I mean, that's where they all are.